number one, I know that every single real estate agent on the planet is interested in getting more listing appointments, right? And so we know that one of the natural first questions in the mind of a homeowner who's considering selling their home is this question of what's the current value? We know that this conversation is one that has immense value if we offered it effectively. So today, what I want to explore with you guys is what are all the ways that we could actually make that offer and create a conversation? And then also, how do we use the CMA strategy unsolicited, meaning that we do it and send it to someone and then create a conversation from there. There's people that we know, there's people that we don't know. And what we want to do is we want to play this game of serving the people that we know and seeing how many of those people would actually be interested in creating that conversation, and then bring them into our long-term relationship building funnels, which we'll talk about. And then we also want to use the tool for people that we don't know. And we want to offer that service to them. Number one, do it for them, send it to them, and see if that creates a conversation. For those of you that have been around in some of my trainings, you know that I'm not going to talk about past customers, right? Any home buyer who buys a home with us, they deserve to have some version of what I refer to as a purchase anniversary annual CMA, right? Kind of like a home equity review, right? So, every past client just deserves that period. It's slightly embarrassing that the real estate industry doesn't provide that. That when I had my financial advisor who reached out and said, hey, we need to meet. And I said, great, what are we meeting about? And they said, well, we just need to review your asset. And I said, fine. So we booked an appointment. And then his company that he works for mandates that all of the financial planners meet with their clients at least one time a year and fill out a form to review their asset. What is the real estate industry's version of that? We don't have one. That's really embarrassing, right? Our past clients, especially here in San Diego, invest, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars. And in the last, 5 to 10 years, if we just take the last 12 years from 2010 to 2022, 23, literally, if you owned a home at 500,000, it is now worth probably $1 million, right? So, this investment on a $500,000 investment from 2010, you probably invested maybe 10%, 50,000, 20%, you invested 100 grand, and now you have an equity position of 600,000. That's pretty exciting stuff. But the real estate industry has never built this system or a procedure or a protocol that says for everybody who bought a home with us, let's at least give them an updated market analysis, an updated equity review, a review of their equity since they bought it. And we've never really initiated some type of system for our past clients. So we know that. So for everybody, we should have that implemented into our past client center of influence, our past client experience. And it should be part of our promise to everybody that buys a home. But that leads us to the good news today, which we know that if the whole real estate industry is not doing that, right? If we look at from 2010 all the way to 2022, the number of agents that came in that worked with a few buyers, helped a few buyers buy home. We look at all the mega agents who helped a lot of people buy homes. We know that they are not in communication with all of the homeowners here in San Diego and around the country. They're not in communication with them about the value of their home. So this presents us an opportunity, right? And so as every agent on the planet is asking me the same question, Patrick, what are the best strategies today to create more inventory, get more listing appointments? Well, we know one of the easiest pathways into a good conversation is on the value of their home. And since, if you've been paying attention for California, from whatever, 1990, it went up, then it went down, then it went up again, and then it went down again, and then it went up again. So if you have half a brain and you own anything in California, this is an important topic, right? So today, let's talk about what I refer to as the unsolicited. Most of you know that I have a long-standing relationship with Sierra Interactive, and I highly recommend them to all my coaching clients, my friends, mega agents out there. Make sure you guys drop down below and book a demo if you use my referral link. That really just supports me and my relationship with them. And I'm constantly trying to help more of my clients and friends to use that tool more successfully. If you, again, are into SEO, generating free leads, content education marketing, especially on YouTube, and you want the best tools for automation in the CRM to communicate with lots and lots of people at scale with lots of control, with you individually as an agent and or with your team, Sierra Interactive is absolutely the best bang for your buck in the industry. Use the link down below to book a demo, my friends. Thank you so much. If I go and grab your email list, right? And I go, wow, look at this. You have 2,000 people on an email list. That is an audience, right? We can craft a decent message. We can hit send, and a certain percentage of that audience will open that message and read whatever we offered, read whatever we suggested. Okay, so that's an audience. I can go on to whether or not it's a Facebook, your Facebook personal page. And if you have 20 people or you have 2,000 people, we can create a message, put a post, and a certain percentage of them would engage with your content, would read it, would be exposed to that. That's an audience. Same thing Instagram, same thing TikTok, same thing LinkedIn. Okay. Now we also have in real estate, we have another audience, which is, some of us have maybe like a geographic farm. And so we can kind of create a letter or we can create a postcard and we would send that message into that community. And that's an audience, and a certain percentage of that audience would engage with your letter, with your postcard, right? So first and foremost, let's start with the basic audiences that we already have in front of us, right? That are just sitting there waiting for us to provide them something, right? So let's deal with that first and foremost, because that group of people, you have some baseline level of relationship with, some relatedness to. So if you were to make them an offer, hey, I would be willing to, if you, right? So this is my favorite strategy. Hey, I would be willing to do ABC if you would be willing to 1, 2, 3. So now let's talk about a message that we all should be doing on a regular basis to our free audiences who relatively know us, relatively like us, relatively respect us. So how often are we making the offer to our Facebook, Instagram, social, email, geographic farm, saying, hey guys, would you like to learn a little bit more about what's going on with the current value of your home? If you would be willing to, then I would be willing, right? So many people are asking me, Patrick, I need to create more seller conversations, more homeowner conversations. Well, when was the last time you did that for people? When was the last time you made that offer? Now, I use the word offer because technically speaking, we know that pretty much, I call it the kind of, in the real world of marketing, we call it the funnel, right? And at the top of the funnel is just an interest, right? So all homeowners at the top of the funnel are interested in learning more about the value of their home casually, right? Casually, yeah, sure, why not? Then as you kind of come down the funnel towards, I want to sell. The bottom of the funnel is, I'm ready to sell my house. How much is it worth? What are we going to list it for? That's at the bottom. At the top, every homeowner is interested in the value of their home today, tomorrow, next week, next year. And then as they come down into more of the consideration of selling, then we would have a different offer, right? And so what would we want to offer these people at this stage? This is where we talk a lot about like, hey, ideas for preparing your home for sale to increase the value of your home, right? We talk about, hey, what would today's buyers be willing to pay for your home? Notice I use very specific language here. Here's kind of more of what today's buyers would be willing to pay for your home. This is a little bit more where a real traditional appraisal would be, right? So the appraisers are here if I want to refinance or I want to do a cash out or I want to do a HELOC, right? Kind of a traditional real value, right? Which is very different than up at the top of the funnel, just kind of like a general understanding, right? And then as we get closer to wanting to sell, I really want to know what, kind of conservatively and also like what I could net, right? And so we know that this is a main part of the conversation tree for everybody to more specific to our perfect customer, which is someone who's like, let's do this now. What I am proposing is, how do we get better at engaging the broader audience and the middle of the funnel so that we can have more listing appointments at the bottom, right? First, foremost, let's take care of our free audiences and let's make that offer, right? And so everybody has a couple different things that they'd be willing to do. So let's explore some of those options in the what I'm willing to do, okay? Some of the options in the what I'm willing to do is, I'm willing to give people access to, on my real estate website, I have find out the value of your home today. And you can give me your name, you can give me your address, and you can give me your phone number and email called lead capture. And then it'll spit out a very general automated valuation, right? I have that tool. I'm willing to provide that tool for free. If I'm willing to give you that tool, you give me your information. It's just a simple exchange, right? Some of you, I don't have that tool. You don't really feel comfortable with that. Or maybe some of you, before I go there, some of you guys might have a subscription to HomeBot. And in HomeBot, they kind of do this thing as well. Hey, I've got this cool technology that provides you a little bit of a snapshot of where the value of your home is, gives you a little bit of an equity report. It ties into your mortgage if you decide to use that. I have that tool. If you want it, then all you have to do is give me what? Just give me your address and your email, and I'll set you up. You can receive the next thing, and it's easy to unsubscribe if you want to, right? So that's a little bit more about following the value of your home, which is also pretty cool, right? Because we know that everybody wants to follow the value of your home. And the reason why we know that is because I think it was 120,000 people every single month type into Google the phrase Zillow Zestimate. 120,000 people every single month. I looked this up on one of my research tools, and it showed me that 120,000 people do this every single month. Wow, that's kind of interesting. Why do they do that? Now, what I've learned is I went, wait a minute, none of my coaching clients are, none of us are offering anything to our community. Since everybody's interested, they're just automatically going to what they know. So what we have to construct is, what is our offer to them at the very basic interest level? Does that make sense? Now, let's do what I refer to as stack the cool. Okay, stack the cool. Some of you might say, hey, friends on Facebook, friends on Instagram, friends on TikTok, friends on LinkedIn. Hey, friends in my email newsletter. Hey, friends in my geographic farm. Hey, friends, past clients, center of influence. Hey, if you want me to, I'd be willing to spend 30 minutes of my professional time and cook up a little bit more of a clear, more accurate home value today. And I would be willing to do that if you want me to. I'll help you with that. Part of this is part of the thing that I would do as a professional for all of my friends, all of my community. And if you want, let's stack the cool a little bit. And if you want, I can also provide you with more of a conservative number and a high number if you were to fix up and improve your property. That sounds good. If you want, I also would be willing to put you on this technology that I have where you can follow the value of your home. With Keller Williams, we have this little kind of tool where they pick the neighborhood and they can kind of follow, active pendings and solds, right, for their particular property. Hey, I'll throw that in as well. Take a look at that. Let me know if you like it, right? It seems pretty cool, right? Some of you may have an actual email newsletter that is actually pretty good, not any of this automated BS that I don't recommend. And so you might say, hey, and I'll also add you to that. And you can check out things about what's going on with the housing market. You can check out some of my buyer, seller, homeowner education. I can throw you into that as well. Take a look at that. I hope you enjoy that, right? Build a little bit more of a relationship. So what I did is I just stacked the cool of, hey, if you want something like this, I can do this plus these additional things. And by the way, why would someone want more of an accurate valuation? Probably because they're starting to move down the funnel, okay? So what's cool about, when you say, hey, you want to learn more about just the value of your home today, people are like, yeah, sure, like no problem, no sweat. But if I said, hey, I'll spend 30 minutes of my time to do this for you, what I found is most people who are not ready to sell or not interested in selling, they'll actually say no. And that actually gives you a break. Now, there's some people who will just say yes, and that's fine, right? Okay. And then as we move down, hey, would you like also to talk about how to improve the value of your home? Is there any other offers that you'd want to stack in there to create a better relationship with your existing community on the topic? Okay. So you can see that, I believe that, in real estate marketing, we are totally missing the boat on this. We have not really figured out how to maximize all of our opportunities to engage more owners in the value of their home at the casual level and also at the little bit more serious level. But every real estate agent is like, well, how do I book more listing appointments? Well, what would happen if between social media, your existing cold email audience, between your geographic farm, between door knocking and cold calling or whatever the hell else you do, leads that you buy, right? And these big databases of old leads that we bought that aren't doing anything. What if we made them an offer and a bunch of them jumped in and said, yeah, I'm interested in that. And then what if we started putting them into a little bit more of a quality long-term kind of email newsletter style? We set them up on some type of HomeBot or KW market report or any other kind of just listed, just sold kind of email newsletter that's custom to their property. What if we started building that up and then we, once a month, we also let them know that we would be happy to do what's called a selling consultation, right? So here's the second thing that I've learned about this topic is if I asked, 100 top agents, hey, what do you cover in a selling consultation? So if I'm 12 months out, 9 months out, 6 months out from selling my home, and I'm going to list with you. You're my friend. I know you've known you forever. You sold me the house. And I say, yeah, we're in the process of selling our home, but it's not for, until the kids, finish school, which is like, the same time next year. So that's 12 months out. Oh man, darn it. I wish I had a listing appointment right now. Okay. So I just want to make sure you guys are also putting into your notes and figuring out, what do you want to meet with them about today? And how would you articulate that? Right. And this is where everybody kind of falls short. So what I've learned is we have all these big audiences between social media, email, and geographic farm. We pretty much haven't addressed this. Would you like to learn more about the value of your home? And then we also haven't addressed the selling consultation, and we haven't made that clear to them. So all they hear from us is, are you ready? Give me a call. Are you ready? Give me a call. And most people aren't ready. They're getting ready. So out of respect, they don't call you because they're not ready. And since we haven't constructed the, hey, when you're 6 to 9 or 12 months out, let's talk about what? All your options on prepping the home for sale to maximize value. There's a lot of options. Let's talk about the timing of, from, kind of getting your house, marketed to on the market to under contract to close, what the shortest amount of time that is. And then what are some of the long time frames so that you can plan appropriately. Let's get you more about what the net sheet is, meaning what are the costs associated with selling a home so that you can plan appropriately for that, right? So if you're going to buy the next home, you probably want to know about that. Hey, by the way, it's funny when I really look at top listing agents, how many of the top listing agents get referral fees from the seller that left the market who bought another house? Why do many mega top listing agents have a very low number of referral fees to the next marketplace? It's because they didn't what? They weren't involved in the conversation when they started the process. You guys get it? Because in their selling consultation, they would say, hey, and I'll help you. I'll be a resource for you for wherever the next transition is going to be. Love to introduce you to maybe the next agent. I can interview the agents in the new market for you. I can help you with any additional details for the transition if it's not in our market. And oh, by the way, if it is in our market, then I would love to help set you up on my resources and my tools for finding the next home, which we should do at least 6 months to 9 months before this whole thing even kicks off. So how many homeowners right now who are in the planning phase to sell their home are searching online for the next property? And since our offer to all home sellers is call me so I can tell you how to sell your home for the highest price in the shortest amount of time, and call me now. That's all we do, which is why we never get any calls, right? Isn't it kind of funny with all of the real estate marketing that we do right now in all different capacities, how we fall so short in results from that marketing? Well, why is that? Well, our offer sucks. Our offer is, are you ready to buy now? Versus, hey, here's where if you're going to start this process, come talk to me. Here's the 6 things we can do at the beginning phase, right? And then we can earn the right to help them buy and sell from the beginning. And that's simply just a consultation, right? Like, I'm happy. I don't know about you guys, but I'm happy to go on more consultation appointments. Do you guys have enough time for more consultation appointments in your week? Yeah, me too, right? But I want more listing appointments. No shit, Sherlock. So do I. But I also would like more. I'd love to have 1 listing appointment per week and maybe 2 consultation appointments per week. I'm perfectly okay with that. I can manage that in my schedule. And then I'd have a really nice pipeline of the future sellers that are coming to market. And, could we also make a lot of money if we had a pipeline of people that we knew were coming to the market throughout the next 12 months? Is there any way we can market that to also create more opportunities for ourselves? Of course we could, right? But the thing that is super crystal clear to me is that we're not addressing and making the offer to people at the top of the funnel about learning more about the value of our home. And then we're not addressing the selling consultation at the middle of the funnel, and then building that funnel up, building up the audience, right? So that we have lots of listing appointments with people who are already engaged with us. Do you guys follow me? So I'm going to put the kind of our existing warm audiences over here. And let's now talk a little bit about cold audiences, people we don't know. And let's move to that next level. So we know that in kind of 2000, maybe 15, 2014, 15, 16, 17, all of these genius marketers came out and said, hey, if we run a Facebook ad that says, would you like to know the value of your home? Click here. And they dropped them to this landing page that gave them some automated stupid stuff. We know that that was wildly successful in terms of lead capture, name, address, phone number, email, lead capture. And so from 14, 15, 16, 17, we ran that campaign, but we also learned that only about 3% of those leads ever really sold. Only 3%. So the problem was everybody, we all got sold back in the day. Everybody, we got solicitations from all the marketing companies and they said, we'll get you seller leads. And then we were like, fine, I'll buy some. And then they gave us these stupid home value leads, right? And then we called those home value leads and people are like, I don't want to sell. And then eventually we just canceled the service, but we let it ding our credit card 4 or 5 more times before we canceled just because we forgot, right? That's how this rolled. Okay. And so this is a problem, but we know that that advertising strategy works. So what we need to look at today is we have better long-term nurturing tools. And I'm giving you guys much better languaging around how to make this offer appropriate. Could we then run this as an ad campaign to strangers? And if you say something along the lines of, hey, if you'd like to learn more about the value of your home, if you'd like to follow the unique value of your home, I've got some great tools. If you would be willing to give me your information, I'd be willing to set you up and it's free. All that I would love to ask for in return is, if you were to ever sell an opportunity to earn your business, right? Something very simple. Click the link down below, schedule, give me a little bit of information just about, your name, your address, and, an email address. And I'm happy to put this little report together and send it over to you. Could we do that as a simple add to a cold lead, whether or not it was via letter, postcard, via, Facebook ad, you name it? The answer is, of course we could, right? Now, how many of those would eventually sell? About 3%, right? But if we built up a nice database of 1,000 of those over time, what would happen? Well, that's pretty good. And then what if we added 1,000 this year and then we added 1,000 next year? Well, then that's also pretty darn good. Or, between 100, it's 3, right? At 500, that's exciting, 15, and at 1,000, that's 30, really exciting. Okay. So if you look at that as an opportunity for strangers in advertising, that's pretty cool. I believe that we all now have the ability to do that. If you choose wisely. I don't see any of the companies doing a great job of that. So just be careful. I'm not telling you to go do it tomorrow. Now let's talk about the unsolicited CMA strategy. Because we started with the free audience. We talked a little bit about kind of advertising. Now let's talk a little bit about the unsolicited, which I think is really a kind of a fun game.
This episode is sponsored by my favorite property data tool, Property Radar. Most of you have explored Remine in the real estate industry. For a lot of real estate investors have used this tool called PropStream. Well, Property Radar is my favorite version of those two tool sets. I think it's fantastic for real estate agents. In today's episode, you're hearing me talk about pulling up maybe the absentee owner list in your geographic farm. Property Radar would allow you to do that really easily and give you way more information that you'd ever need to know. You might want to pull every single family for doing a CMA-a-day for them. Property Radar would allow you to do that and way, way, way more. So there's so many different nuances of searches you can do to create potential seller lists with Property Radar. There's extensive training on their site. So go down below, jump on the link, test it out, do the training, watch a couple of my videos of some of the different strategies I'm recommending, and let's see if this data tool can make a big difference for you with getting listings in 2023. I look forward to hearing your results. Go down below, jump on the link.
So I was talking to, I have a great client, very successful. She made $1 million last year. She's a rock star. She has a geographic farm of about 800 homes. And I said, all right, well, you got a geographic farm of 800 homes. What would happen if we created, if there's 200 work days in a year for a real estate agent, what if we, to get to 800, that means we'd have to do 4, right? Every work day. I'm like, what would happen if you created a nice package of a little bit of a CMA? Since it's your geographic farm, you could probably get a pretty clear sense, for all the single families, I can probably get, 10 or 15 of those done in one shot, right? Like I live in Solana Beach, like, the Solana Beach old ranches that are the single story, like there's probably, 20 to 30 to 40 of those. I could probably get one comp analysis done for all of those, right? And then I can create a nice little letter that says, hey, prices have been, great. They've been a little bit weird, since I live in the neighborhood. This is my geographic, you guys are my, the neighborhood that I want to serve. I put together this nice little comp analysis for all the single families kind of in this range. Here's a little bit of analysis of low, medium, high. Would love to talk to you more about anything about, values, about what you're doing with your property, about, different things that everybody's doing in the neighborhood regarding solar, remodel, refinance. Happy to just have a conversation with you. I hope this helps. Something stupid, simple, very customer service feel. And I put that letter together and I sign it. And I put maybe, 2 or 3 sheets of the comp analysis and put it into a nice envelope. Maybe it cost me about, I don't know, $1.15 to $1.50 per envelope. And then I just sent out, 4 of those a day, right? 4 of those a day. And then, if I went to the 2-story and I looked at the range and I can do the comp analysis for another 20, right? Or and I did this version, I can do another 50 of these and I can do another of those. Now, so I said to her, I said, if you have 800 people on your farm, and if we sent, these out to every single one of them this year, how many conversations do you think that would create? How many opportunities do we think that would create? Do you guys follow me? And that's where I was like, the unsolicited CMA strategy. That got interesting. Now, it's way more work, but what I've learned in marketing is when there's a perceived higher value of your effort, you get a better response. So the perceived value of this, right? So sometimes a little bit of guilt makes a big difference. So if I put this package together and I sent it off and someone was, just going to randomly list and sell their home with, their cousin who's a real estate agent in 2 cities over, that's just kind of what they generally thinking they were going to do. Then they receive this package, then they might feel a little bit more obligated to do what? Call you. They might as well, no harm, no foul, because you actually put together more in-depth research that was more customized. You clearly are the local expert. And you made a nice offer that says, let's just have a little chat. Love to chat with you a little bit more about these things. And so then they just give you the opportunity versus, so you can see the difference between a postcard that says, just listed, just sold, the latest 2 sales, call me, call me, call me. Are you ready? Versus a little bit of a nicer package presentation, right? That we sent off. Okay. So this is where it's like, okay, so the unsolicited CMA, this is where it starts to get interesting. Now, could we use the unsolicited CMA package for some of your center of influence? Sure, right? Hey, was thinking of you. I've been, doing a bunch of, market analysis for all of my great clients and friends. I adore you. And so I just, I did one for you. This, I'm not asking you to sell, but I'd love to chat with you more about things like remodeling, downsizing, anything that you would want, solar. I'm here for you. I appreciate you. Send the package. It creates a conversation, right? Easy peasy. Okay. Now, I want to address one thing that I think is kind of interesting, right? So I don't know about you guys, but when I was actively selling homes and I was like really trying to, get more listings, of course, just like everybody else, what I realized was I was like, the more times I did comps for whether I was a buyer or whether or not it was a listing appointment, the more time I did comps, for some strange reason, the more confidence I got in market value. That's kind of weird. The more comps I did, the more confidence I got. And then the more comps I did, the more I started to notice more of the unique nuances out in San Diego in the different communities. And so the more comps I did, then the more confidence I had with also the weird variables. Gosh. And so, you would think that real estate agents would just have in kind of their general daily, weekly, just to stay pro, we just think we would have do comps for homeowners on a regular basis, just so we can stay fresh, stay good, or even as a newer agent, get good. I'd like to get good. I remember my first probably 25 listing appointments. I didn't even really learn how to do good comps. I didn't practice ever. So on the first 25 listing appointments I went on, I was a pathetic, I had no good perspective on value. I had no confidence in it. After, 4 years of going on 100 listing appointments, selling a lot of houses, doing a lot more comps, wow, surprise, surprise, I was really confident. I learned also all the mistakes that were made along the way. Gosh, I wish I would have figured that out a little earlier. You guys follow me? So I just want to pose this question of like, why aren't we just doing this on a daily basis anyways? Right? Like, why not? And then we do it, and then it creates great conversations. We do it not only for our past clients, our sphere, for our geographic farm, but let's move to the next, phases of unsolicited, right? In the unsolicited zone, we also have, like, you and I both know a lot of kind of investors and absentee owners. So if I looked at my geographic farm, there'd probably be a lot of people who own the property as an investment, right? And or in any specific geographic territory that I would want. Gosh, I bet you they would really appreciate and respect that level of attention to detail, right? Hey, I know you own this property. It's a rental. If you were ever considering selling, I just did some comps. Here's a little bit of evaluation. Here's some details that you might want. I hope this helps. Love to, have coffee the next time you're in town. Feel free to give me a call if you ever want to just talk a little bit about this property or any other properties that you're interested in. Just a nice little letter. Send the thing to the absentee owner. Not solicited, not are you ready to sell? Here's what I would get you, because they don't like that. They like more of a kind of a customer service approach. They like more of an informational approach and a little bit more of a relationship building approach. And that would be one easy way to do that, right? So we can do that in our farm and or in any other markets. We also know that, when you have, so then there's also things like the, just the general, like I have a lot of expired real estate agents. So, we know that if you did a little bit of a comp analysis for an expired and you sent it to them, right? It could create a good conversation. Hey, I know you had trouble selling your home and I was just doing a market analysis, right? I just want this to be as a gift to you. If you ever want to talk about, the value of your home, how to improve the value of your home, or you want a second opinion about selling your home, I would be honored to have that conversation with you. And here you go. Congratulations, right? Just, no big deal. It's like, they're there. We want to create a conversation. If you called, you're probably not going to be able to get a hold of them. But, since it's a productive activity for me on a regular basis, why not do that and add that in? Do the same thing for sale by owner, because we know that they're absolutely stupid and nuts most of the time. Hey, I know you're trying to sell your home by yourself, right? I was looking up your property. I was, did a little bit of analysis. I wanted to double check your price. I wanted to understand, if I had a buyer, kind of what would I make an offer for? I figure since I did this research, I might as well give it to you. If and when you ever decide to interview an agent, I'd love to be in the queue. I hope you enjoy this research. Have a great day. Good luck. Send. Fine. Do you guys follow me? Like, who cares? If I'm doing it regularly anyways, I might as well increase the probability of a high quality seller conversation. Most of us aren't going to call that FSBO anyways. For some of us, if FSBO is in our neighborhoods or our marketplaces, and it's like, why not just send it over to them, right? If there was a for rent in our marketplace, that would be probably a good cue as well. So if we saw for rent either by owner or for rent with a property management company, we can just look up the property owner and send one to them and say, hey, I saw your property for rent, right? And I was doing this anyways. Check it out. Hope this helps. Love to chat with you, right? Give me a call if you ever want to talk about that, right? Again, what I was looking at is just how do we use this practice, kind of professional practice. If we all talk about role, back in the day, we all talk about role play every single day, right? Fine. Okay. Role play every day. When we're going to spend 30 minutes role playing every day. Well, what if I'd rather spend 30 minutes doing market analysis and sending that off and if I did that, 2 to 3 times a day, 200 days out of the year, right? We know that that's going to get me to 600 to 800 to 1,000 of these sent out, right? That's probably going to create a good amount of listing appointments and conversations. You guys follow me? So what do you want to do? Do you want to, spend an hour on a dialer and talk to 5 people who are kind of irritated and 15 people that are annoyed, or spend an hour and send 2 of those out? That's, choose, right? Just add it to the queue. So with the unsolicited, the question then becomes is who else could we send this to, right? If you had a listing that you currently, if there was a property that you listed and then you had just sold it, could you then try and look up in that neighborhood and look up every property that was similar to the property that you sold? So you already kind of have the comps ready to roll. You can go into a Remine or a property radar and you can look up every similar type of property and you can say, hey, dear neighbor, I just sold your neighbor's house. It was a 1234 Banana Street. It was a 4-bedroom, 2-bath. Here were the comps that I was looking at. Here's where we ended up. I just thought I would put a nice little package together for you so that you can see a little bit more clearly about the unique value of your home. Would love to chat with you if you ever need anything regarding, upgrading, downsizing, moving, selling, or if you just want to, in general, follow the value of your home. I'd love to chat with you and have some coffee. I hope this is helpful information. And we sent that off to, 5, 10, 15, 20 homeowners in the neighborhood that you just sold with a nice package. I don't know, that would probably do really well, right? If we sell 10 listings a year and we did, 10 or 20 of those per sale, we're talking about, 100 to 200 of those that go out. There's no way that wouldn't create some good quality conversations and some good quality sellers. You guys follow me? So you guys can see that the moral of the story here is really the real estate industry and the real estate community is not leveraging this one most important topic. That is the conversation starter to the one thing that we all want. And all we're doing is we're just beating the drum of, are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? If you're ready, I'm ready. Are you ready? I'm ready. If you're ready, let's all be ready to sell their home. And by the way, we're in more extreme low inventory and it's weird, right? So, let's address that for a hot second. Why are we in such low inventory? And for me, I would venture to say that the homeowners are not in communication with the agents because the agents are only saying, call me when you're ready to sell. And most homeowners are in a research and preparation phase. And when we leave them in it to do their own research and their own prep, and we don't make offers to just have nice conversations and to help them to answer their big questions, then I feel like they also end up taking longer to come to market. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? I was harassing a lot of my coaching clients on this, on the topic of buyers, because everybody says to me, well, buyers take forever, they're not loyal. And I said, well, why do they take forever? Well, they're indecisive. Well, why are they indecisive? Well, yeah, because you didn't do a buyer consultation. And at the buyer consultation, all we talk about is the escrow process. We don't talk about how to pick the right lender and the best lender for them. We don't talk about, the differences between the locations, the differences between the property types, the difference between their lifestyle qualities and the costs. And we don't help them to clarify all of those questions and to answer those questions for them so that they actually are like, oh my gosh, I'm ready. You see, we leave them to their own research and we're waiting for them to be ready. And in that process, we lose them all the time. We let them go do research, and then we let them off onto Zillow and all these other places to figure it out on their own. So then they drive around to different open houses. Why are they driving around to different open houses without you? Because they're trying to learn more about locations. They're trying to learn more about property types. They're trying to learn more about the lifestyle of those different communities. They're trying to learn more about how their purchasing power, where it goes, and what's the best use of that. Well, why don't we just do that for them? Right? Why don't we just sit down and handle all of that? Then they would be like, oh my gosh, thank you so much, right? And then they'd probably be loyal to you because if you did that, then they'd probably be 100% loyal to you. But because we don't do that, then they're not loyal because they go do all their own research by themselves, come to all their own conclusions by themselves. And so all you are is just a door opener and someone to write the contract, and you have no value and I have no loyalty to you. So I might just run into someone at an open house and it might just happen to be the right property. They just happen to give me a really good pitch and I just decide to work with them versus you, even though I liked you and I know you and we've talked about it in the past. Do you guys follow me? So this is where I believe that we all, as we move into 2023, we definitely need to up our game with this, like these kind of consultation, kind of meeting the customer earlier in the game, building better relationship there and crafting a better offer about the topic.
Hey, one more thing before you go. If you haven't signed up for my email newsletter, drop down below and just click the link that says email newsletter and I'll send you the next one. I only send it out maybe 1 to 3 times a month max. I write it myself and I'm only putting in some of the best ideas, strategies, books, podcasts, blogs, articles, my latest interviews, anything that I think is going to make a positive impact on you and your business, I'll put it in there. So I don't send it out very often. I wait until I have something worth sending. I hope you enjoy. It's easy to unsubscribe if you don't like it, no worries. All right, drop down below and get after it. And then, respond to the email. If there's anything I can do to help, I take a look at those emails and I will respond to you. All right, have a great day. We'll see you on the next video.